Hello, and welcome back to Around the Boxes, episode number 12. First episode of the new year. Hello, welcome. If you haven't seen the most recent episode of Webheads or don't follow me on Twitter, I am sick. Currently, I started off 2022 with the COVID, so that is why I did not have an episode last week or a Webheads episode this week. I've just been resting up, still feeling a little under the weather. I'm a bit better. But if I'm clearing my throat a lot or coughing a lot, that's why. And that's probably why this is going to be a shorter-ish episode. I mean, I'm not going to limit it, but depending on how I feel. I mean, a lot of talking, it's mostly my throat and like that, you know how it is. But so yeah, started 2022 off great with the vid. So. But welcome back Around the Boxes. I've missed you guys. I missed you last week, but we're back this week. Lots to go over. Lots of exciting stuff. I finally watched Eternals today. I had not seen it. It's probably the first Marvel movie in a long time other than Black Widow that I didn't see in theaters. But I was waiting for it to go on Disney Plus. It went on Disney Plus today, so I watched it this morning. It was okay. Yeah. Wasn't anything crazy. Wasn't blown away by it, but it was fun, I guess. I don't know. I was kind of bored. I was kind of bored at points, to be honest with you, but it was okay. I'll put it that way. But before I dive into my pickups, I wanted to talk about this. Let me pull this up here. I don't know. My face cam's kind of blocking it a little bit. Is there a way to adjust this? No. The legendary John Romita Jr. returns to Amazing Spider-Man April 2022. So it looks like the next creative run, we're starting to get some announcements for which creators are going to be taking over the book after Beyond. And it looks like one of the artists is going to be John Romita Jr. Yeah! You guys probably know I'm not a huge fan of his art, so I'm not too excited for this. But can't really complain. One thing I will say is on this looks like it's going to be the cover probably, and it says ASM 001. So if I were theorizing, if I had to come up with some theories, I would say they're probably going to be restarting at issue number 1, which is good. I think they should do that with the creative team as long as they keep up the legacy numbers, then I have no problem with that. But yeah, so John Romita Jr. coming back. Obviously, he's a legend. Son of the great John Romita. And I love John Romita's art, but John Romita Jr. has never really been my favorite. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully, it's a good writer. That's really what I'm waiting to see because that's pretty important. So hopefully, we'll have an announcement on that soon, and I will of course talk about that here. But yeah, if Matt is watching, I know you're happy. I know you love John Romita Jr. I am not a big fan of John Romita Jr.'s art, but you know what? I'll go into it with an open mind. Maybe I'll be convinced. I just really hope Patrick Gleason sticks around either as a writer or as an artist occasionally. I would like him to stick around as a writer. I think he's done really well on the issues that he's written for Beyond. So I don't know, but exciting news about the future of Spider-Man after Beyond. So glad to see that. I also had this pulled up. Thor Issue 750 is coming up. And they're bringing back a lot of star-studded creators. We got J. Michael Straczynski, love him. Oliver Coipel, I don't know if I said that right, but Dan Jurgens, Walter Simonson, Al Ewing, Tom DeFalco, and then Jason Aaron. I mean, a lot of all-star names here from Thor's past, so that's really cool. Looking forward to that. And that'll be Thor 24. But as you guys know, I've been really enjoying that run, and I really hope Donny Cates stays on the book for a while. I don't want him to go anywhere, but I'll talk more about him when I actually get to the comics this week. But yeah, so that's some news in the comic book industry. Pretty cool stuff. Nothing too crazy, but I think it's positive news. John Romita Jr. I'm not that excited about, but it's nice that we're getting some news. I mean, I've been waiting to hear what's next after Beyond. And so it sounds like that is kind of what's going on next. So excited to see that. But I guess I should dive into my comics this week, huh? Or I guess the last 2 weeks. Not as many pickups. Got a stack about this big. Some back issues, some new books, nothing crazy. What I can say, and if you follow me on Twitter, you would have known about this already, but I tweet out a lot of stuff over there if you want to go follow me at RealDA Tweets. You can see it listed right here. I kind of got a little carried away on eBay, and I ordered some awesome books that are coming. So I'm not going to tell you what they are, obviously, but definitely stay tuned in the coming weeks. As a future episode of Around the Boxes is going to have some really awesome books in it. They might be in the same episode, they might be in different episodes. All I'll say is, you guys remember, a number of weeks ago, back in episode 6 of Around the Boxes, I picked up this awesome Amazing Spider-Man 361, First Appearance of Carnage, Signature Series, signed by Mark Bagley, gem. And all I'm going to say is the 2 books I ordered are similar to this, in the sense of they're both CGC'd, and they're both Signature Series. Now, obviously, they're not this, but they are awesome, and they're going to go right up there as gems with that book. One more than the other, but 2 awesome books coming that I'm super excited to show you guys. So definitely keep an eye out for that future episode of Around the Boxes, because it's going to have some good stuff. I'm telling you guys, you don't want to miss it. Both books are signed by 2 creators, and they are some of my favorite creators in the industry, so you don't want to miss this, people. But diving into my pickups, first we got some new books, and then I have some back issues, not a lot of back issues, nothing crazy. I didn't really buy a lot of comic books the last couple of weeks until I bought those 2 big ones, but this first book is Batman 119. I mentioned when I picked up the last issue that it was a new creative run, so I was giving it a try, and I'm still sticking to that. I'm going to pick it up for one storyline and see how I feel about it. This issue did not sell me on it. It was honestly, I don't want to say boring. Like, I'm sure some people enjoyed this, but I did not feel as I was reading it that I wanted to read it. I felt like I was reading it because I had to read it, and I'm trying to avoid that when I'm spending money on comic books. Like, I only want to buy comics that I really want to read, and so if Batman doesn't change that anytime soon in the next couple issues, then I'm probably not going to continue picking it up, but still giving it a try for a couple more issues just to see what they can do. But it just didn't really interest me too much. I felt kind of bored reading it. Similar story to Dark Ages. This is Dark Ages number 4. This came out today. And Dark Ages number 4, it was kind of a similar story. I felt like I was on autopilot reading it. You know, it wasn't anything super interesting. I wasn't like hooked or looking forward to it. At this point, I'm just picking it up because it is a mini series, so I just want to have every issue. But if it was an ongoing series, I would definitely drop it, because I don't know, it's just not as interesting to me. It started strong. The first issue was interesting. The concept is cool, but it just hasn't really hooked me. So, yeah, can't really recommend it that much, but if you're enjoying it, then, you know, good for you. It's just not really my thing right now, but my hair is a mess. I should have, whatever. But, yeah, so that's Dark Ages. Those 2 books are kind of, nothing too crazy. The next one is Avengers Number 51. I think this was supposed to be in the last episode, but my store was sold out of it, and I ended up going to a different comic store last week, and I picked it up there as well as another book. But this is the first part of the Death Hunters, which is the new storyline with the multiversal Masters of Evil, which is super, super cool. Seems like a big climax to this run. I wonder if, I haven't looked at the previews for future Avengers books, so I wonder if Jason Aaron's run's coming to a close. I don't know. But it's pretty good. I'm not necessarily looking forward to each issue, but I am enjoying them, so I'm not going to drop it. I mean, I'm going to keep picking it up, but it's definitely, I wouldn't say underwhelming, but it's not blowing my mind. It's not like I'm reading this and going like, wow, this is such a good run. And I've always kind of felt that way about Jason Aaron's writing, which I know that's kind of controversial because a lot of people love Jason Aaron. But anything I've read by Jason Aaron, I've never really been wowed. I've read some of his Thor books. That was obviously his biggest one. I think, did he write Original Sin? I'm pretty sure he did. And he's been writing Avengers for a while. And yeah, I've just never been, blown away by his writing. But he's a good writer, but anyway, not one of my favorites. But this next book came out this week. This is Fantastic Four 39. The conclusion or continuation of the little small storyline of them fighting for custody over what's his name, Bennett, and with the wizard and the whole like kind of a silly little arc with She-Hulk and legal stuff. It was good. It was fun. This run kind of feels like they're just doing filler until they can get to Reckoning War, which is coming up. So, I mean, that'll probably be good, but it does feel like they're just kind of filling in with like random crap to get to that. We haven't really had a story of substance ever since Doom's wedding. So, yeah. Not much to say about that. It's good. I'm going to continue picking it up. I do think Dan Slott is a good writer for the Fantastic Four. I think it suits his writing style. Similar to how Spider-Man did, but not everyone was a fan of his writing on Spider-Man, and I do agree with a lot of those criticisms of how he wrote Peter specifically, and I think that that problem isn't as much of a factor in the Fantastic Four. Excuse me. Trying to fight this cough. Okay, next book is another one that my store was sold out of, but I had to go to a different comic store and pick it up. It's Miles Morales Spider-Man 33. This was supposed to be a couple weeks ago. I feel the same way about this book that I felt about every issue from this series, which is that it's just kind of I'm not a fan of Saladin Ahmed's writing on this book specifically. Each issue just seems to fly by. Nothing of substance really happens. I'm not a huge fan of his new costume. I don't know. It's a real shame because I really like the character of Miles Morales and I really want him to have a good series, but I just have not enjoyed this run or the last run or any of the runs that they've made with him. I really think they just need a new creative team. I think the minute they announce a reboot with a new writer and artist and everything like that, I will be on board with it, depending on the creators, of course, but I don't know, it's just been weird. I just haven't really enjoyed it very much, but this was a development of Beyond. It was a Beyond tie-in, so that was, that was good to see, but yeah, I don't know. At this point, the only reason I'm picking it up is because it's a Spider-Man book. I probably would drop it if it wasn't a Spider-Man book, but I'll probably keep picking it up just because it is Miles Morales, and I just want to have it for the collection, so yeah. Next book. Now we're getting into the heavy hitters this week. The next book is Thor, issue number 20, God of Hammers Part 2, legacy number 746. Love it. I mentioned earlier I've been loving Donny Cates' Thor run. Donny Cates is probably my favorite modern writer right now. Loved his Venom run. His run on Thor is incredible, and now he's taken over Hulk, which I am still a little lost on, but I'm holding out. But, yeah, this book is awesome. I just love the way he writes Thor. I think his writing style is perfect for Thor. And what a twist in this book. The God of Hammers revealed. Definitely really enjoyed it. I'm a little disappointed, though, because the issue before the God of Hammers storyline was setting up Throg and his little animal Avengers, and then they have barely been in this book at all. So I was like, what the heck was that all about? But, whatever. I'm not that disappointed. But I just really liked Throg and all of that, so... But great cover. Love the cover. Love the next cover. The next cover looked awesome. And with the twist that we got in this book, I'm excited to see what happens next, because there's definitely going to be some cool stuff going on. So, looking forward to that. Although I will say, in the preview of Thor 750, I'm going to go back here, you can see that he has Mjolnir again. So... I think that kind of, not spoils, but reveals how God of Hammers is going to end. Like, presumably he's going to get Mjolnir back. I don't know how that's going to work, but interesting to see that. Also, someone died. I don't know who died, but someone's going to die. But I guess we'll find out. But, yeah. Next book is The Amazing Spider-Man. The thumbnail to cover, Amazing Spider-Man 84. Legacy 885. I don't really remember this book that much because I just read the next one. But yeah, Dr. Octopus attacking Beyond, fights Ben Reilly, beats him, and I'm happy to see Dr. Octopus back as Dr. Octopus. It's not Superior Spider-Man, it's not him in like a Peter Parker clone, it's not, the old dying Dr. Octopus. Like, it's just classic Doc Ock in a suit with the arms and everything like that. You love to see it. Doc Ock's one of my favorite villains. So I'm happy to see him back in action. And I love how they're kind of tying Beyond in with Superior Spider-Man a little bit. specifically Parker Industries, because Beyond and Superior Spider-Man are kind of similar concepts, you know, taking Peter Parker out of the game and replacing him with a different Spider-Man. So I like that they're kind of acknowledging that by connecting them. And this is, the next one is issue 85, the one that came out today. So Legacy 886, Beyond Chapter 11. So we are over halfway through Beyond. At this halfway point, I say thumbs up for Beyond. I've been enjoying it. I was really iffy about the whole multiple creators thing, multiple writers thing. But I think it's been working out pretty well. I've been enjoying each issue. This one was definitely a great one. Having him versus Doc Ock and setting up some plot twists for the future of Beyond. So I definitely give it a thumbs up as an Amazing Spider-Man fan. I think these are good additions to the series. It's a pretty good small little run. And then I'm excited to see where they go with the next creative team with John Romita Jr. and whoever will be writing the book. So all in all, give it my thumbs up. Enjoy it. But from there, I have a couple back issues, just a few. I got some Amazing Spider-Man back issues, or modern back issues. We got Amazing Spider-Man Volume 248, or Legacy 489. And then we got issue 49, or 490. So just a couple more to fill in the old run. J. Michael Straczynski, John Romita Jr. Continuing my slander of John Romita Jr.'s art. Look how thin this man's leg is. I mean, that just does not look right. That does not look right at all. That anatomy is all wrong. But, sorry, John Romita Jr. I love your dad's art, but your art is, you know, a little iffy. But not to be too critical. But now, the last book I picked up, I actually picked up, before I show you the comic I picked up a graphic novel that relates to the comic. Now, this is a series, I tweeted out about this. I was basically, you know, I was sick. I was in quarantine. I wanted something to do, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy the compendium of this series because I've been told it's great. I should check it out. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. It is Saga. I have obviously heard great things about Saga. It's been a very popular comic book published by Image. And I knew nothing about it, but I knew there was a compendium, so I was like, oh, let me look into it. And I looked into the compendium, realized that it's issues 1 through 54. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, what issue are they on now? And I looked up, and I didn't realize Saga has not been releasing comics for about 4 years? No, 3 years? For a couple of years. Because 54 was actually their last issue for a long time. And so they're coming out with issue 55 next week. And so I was like, well, this is the perfect time to read 1 through 54. And then I can start, if I like it, I can start picking up with issue 55 next week. So I bought it. I read the entire thing. I mean, it's a thick compendium, 54 issues. I read the entire thing in a couple of days. And I loved it. I thought it was great. Definitely more adult themed. Obviously, I mean, there's like nudity and stuff like that, but it was really good. It's different, it's super unique, it's super quirky, and super fun. So I'm definitely going to pick up 55 when that comes out next week, and I'll pick up the series going forward. But if you haven't read it, if you like independent comics and you like kind of different, more original and unique comics, I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't. As for genre, I mean, it's definitely kind of like a sci-fi fantasy blend. Definitely some kind of like a parody or a satire of romance novels. Romance novels are kind of a theme throughout the series, and that definitely shows in the actual story. And I think that's kind of fun. It's meant to be, it's meant to not take itself too seriously, which I think is a really good aspect of it. Is it's just fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not too dramatic, but it also does get you to really care about these characters and really kind of care about the story. So I'm glad that I read it. I'm glad that I read it when I did, because it ended on a cliffhanger, and I don't have to wait that long for the next issue. Whereas if I had read this 2 years ago, like everyone else, then I'd be stuck waiting all this time, and that would have sucked. So I'm glad that I read it when I did, because now I'm ready to go for it to resume, and I'll be good going forward. So looking forward to the future of Saga. But by far my favorite part of this series, if you've read it, you already probably know. My favorite character is a character named Goose. Now, if you have not read the series, his name is Goose, G-H, not umlaut, U with the 2 dots and S. And he is, let me find him in here. Come on, Goose, where you at? There he is. Oh no, I lost him. This is Goose. And he is adorable, he is hilarious, I love him, he's quirky, he's a great time. This is his name there. I don't know if it'll show up on the camera, but Goose. And so there was one specific comic that I really wanted, so when I was at my comic store this week picking up my new books, I went and checked out their Saga section, and they had it, so now my first comic book of Saga that I own is Saga Issue 34, with Goose right there on the cover. You'll love it. I love it. I want to get issue 12, which is his first appearance. I don't think it'll be worth much, but I just love this character, so I just think he's hilarious. But I love him. I mean, look at him. He's wearing a little hat, fishing on his walrus named Friendo. Like I said, Saga is a super quirky series. There's a lot of weird, like, animal hybrid species type character things. So I picked this one up because they had it at the store, and I was like, all right, I gotta get it. I mean, look at it. I mean, just look at it. I gotta get it. So that is my my first Saga comic book until the next issue comes out next week, and I'm looking forward to that. So I am on board with Saga, the series. I wasn't sure how I felt about it before. I had always thought about reading it, but I always kind of hesitated because I wasn't sure. It seemed weird, and I didn't know. But after reading it, I can definitely say I'm on board. I'm a fan, and I recommend it to anyone who wants a good read. The compendium was not too expensive. I bought it online. Got it at a discounted price. I think I paid like $45 or something for it, and this is 54 issues. I mean, that's a pretty thick compendium. So I highly recommend, if you are at all interested in trying it out, now is the perfect time to read it, because now it's about to resume again next week. So go out and pick up the compendium, read the first 54 issues, and then if you like it, you can start picking it up next week when they resume the individual issues. So definitely a good time to jump on board. It gets the recommendation from me, so whatever that's worth to you, take it and run with it. So, oh my gosh. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna wrap up this episode here. It's definitely a shorter one, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But I don't have any more comic books to show, and I'm still having trouble breathing and all that. So I'm gonna go lay down and relax. Maybe watch a movie or something. A movie better than Eternals. I said it. Yeah, look forward to the future. I'm telling you, there's some good stuff on the horizon. We will have Webheads resuming again this Monday. Again, we skipped a week because I was feeling sick, but we are going to be resuming next Monday with the next episode of Webheads, and then Around the Boxes every single week going forward. And something I tweeted about before the new year, and I want to kind of mention here, last year I obviously returned to YouTube and started making content again, and I've been really enjoying it, and I really focused on comic book related content, comic book collecting, because I wanted to get back into collecting. I wanted to get back into making videos and live streams and stuff like that on collecting, and that's what I did, and I'm really happy with where we've landed. I really enjoy Around the Boxes. I really enjoy Webheads. I kind of like those two pieces of content, but this year specifically, a goal of mine is to start developing some of the other content outside of comic book collecting that I had mentioned when I first came back. So D&D related stuff, Magic the Gathering related stuff, some different types of content. I'm not saying I'm not going to do more comic book stuff, and I'm obviously still going to continue doing the comic book stuff that I am doing now, but I'm looking to start developing some different types of content. I'm gonna branch out a little bit, so look for that in the future. I don't have any timeline on that, obviously. I was gonna start doing it sooner, but I've just been sick and laying around and not doing anything productive. So, but look for that. But all in all, I would say just thank you, Happy New Year, guys. Thanks for all the support you guys have had on all the content I've been doing lately. I've been having an absolute blast doing it, and the support has been really awesome. You guys have been crushing it. I mean, a lot of likes and comments and everything like that. So definitely leave a like on this video if you do enjoy Around the Boxes. Your feedback is really important to me, so I love to hear it. I love when you guys comment, anything, any sort of comment. I love it. I love seeing interaction from you guys. So leave a comment on your thoughts on these comic books, on your thoughts on content, anything you'd like to see me do. I'm not going to guarantee I'll do it, but I take suggestions. So feel free to leave some suggestions down below. If you haven't, go and check out Webheads. I know I advertise it every single episode of Around the Boxes, but I'm seriously just so proud of what we're doing over there. Go and check it out. It's an awesome podcast with me and JP. We're reading through every issue of Amazing Spider-Man, and it's a lot of fun over there. So go and check that out. Obviously, go check out past episodes of Around the Boxes if you've missed them. But I am going to leave it here. I will see you guys next week for Webheads and Around the Boxes. Like I said, awesome comic books on the way, guys. Awesome comic books on the way. It's going to be an insane episode. You don't want to miss it. But I will see you guys then. Until then, rest, relax, have a good time.